You can travel the world to follow your dream. You can make millions of dollars pursuing your passion. You can impact thousands of people all over the world, and you can create anything in your imagination. And in this video, I'm going to give you the undeniable proof as to how you can do that. My name is Sam Terrell. I'm a speaker and an author and the founder of Divergent University. I've spoken at hundreds of events, including a TED Talk that you can look up on YouTube. I've made over $1 million in my first business, Hoop Brothers, helped 10,000 plus paying clients to pursue their passions all across the country. And I've written 10 books on personal development, leadership development, and business development. You'll learn a little bit more about throughout this video. And there's really 4 things I've learned coaching hundreds of students to pursue their calling that make the difference between being able to actually make your dream happen and failure. So stick around to the end of this video because the 4th concept of these 4 is actually the most important. And if you can make each of these happen, then your dreams can 100% become a reality. So number 1 is clarity. You have to have complete clarity on your vision in order for it to even be possible. So one verse that I'll read you from Proverbs is Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, people perish, but blessed is the one who heeds wisdom's instruction. So if you do not have a vision for your future cannot happen. I worked with a student named CJ. He was a high school student. He filmed basketball games for his high school basketball team. He wasn't on the team. And while he was in high school, he was very shy, was afraid to really put himself out there, didn't know what he wanted to do with his life after high school. And he started working with me and I was coaching him on confidence. I was helping him clarify his vision. And he wrote down what he wanted to do, and it was to dunk a basketball. And somebody who had never played high school basketball, how is he going to do anything with dunking a basketball? But I pushed him to continue to follow that calling. So he started sharing videos of him practicing dunking on Instagram. And little by little, he built an audience to follow his journey dunking a basketball. And over the course of several years, as I worked with him, he was able to become one of the most famous pro dunkers on earth. And he's since traveled the world, been to almost a dozen countries, and been on a Pringles commercial featured as a pro dunker. He's been in NBA halftime shows as a dunker. This is someone who never even played high school basketball, but was getting clarity on his vision to pursue his passion and actually make it happen. So one of the books at Divergent University that we teach is Divergent Thinking. And so in this book, it's how do you bring your ideas into reality? And when you think of divergent thinking, it's expanding an idea. Clarity is not a destination to reach. Clarity is something that you expand that already exists within you. God has already placed the calling within your heart. You just have to water the seed. And so at Divergent University, we have 9 books. This is one of 9 workbooks that we go through in detail over the course of 9 months to help students really clarify their vision 1 page at a time. So students are able to go through books like this and go through the assignments on a book that kind of show each one of these has a different assignment. And so when you go through 9 books of Divergent University, you're really able to create that traction that you wouldn't be able to on your own because you're being guided and you're having the steps kind of pieced together as you go. The second thing that you need, so first is clarity, clarify your vision. Number 2 is confidence. So you might have a vision, but if you don't believe you can make it happen, then you're not going to actually take any steps to make it happen anyway. And so another Bible verse, 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So another student that I worked with, his name is Josh. Josh, when he was in college, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do after college. He had tried and failed to start a business prior to graduating college. And I started working with him at Divergent University. When he was taking college classes, he also took Divergent University classes. And he had a Instagram page called Free the Roots, which was celebrating locked hair and trying to find natural solutions that were healthy for locked hair for locked hair. And so He didn't have a business at the time. He just had an Instagram page, but he listened to his audience to hear what they wanted. And he built a multi-million-dollar company using some of the frameworks he learned at Divergent University. He graduated Divergent U, and several years later, his business is now doing millions of dollars every year in revenue. His brothers are his business partners. He's hired a team. He's expanded. And now he's getting into stores. He's worked with influencers. But none of that would have been possible if he didn't develop the confidence to believe that he could. So you can actually look at his story and many other stories on our website, Divergent University. I'll share more about that at the end. But the bottom line is you have to develop confidence. And how you develop confidence and how we help students develop confidence is through Divergent Business. Not only do we have students go through the workbooks, but students also get coaching every single week. So I was able to sit with Josh in one-on-one sessions every week to work on his ideas, to help him gain consistent accountability to his goals. And so over the course of 9 months, a student will sit with a coach, myself and other coaches. You'll 100% work with me, as well as other coaches that are part of our ecosystem. And you'll get 33 total one-on-one coaching sessions over 9 months, which means every single week there is accountability on goals that you set for your ideas. So you have to have clarity, number one. You have to have the confidence, number two. You develop the clarity by attempting, by moving forward, by writing it down and sharing it. You develop the confidence by getting that accountability and executing on the thing in order to then iterate based off of feedback. Then number three is community. So you have the confidence, you have the clarity, but if you don't have the community of support around you, it makes it very difficult because those around you might be pursuing different goals or might not even believe that you can do it. And so it holds you back from making your goals happen. In Genesis 2:18, God says it is not good for man to be alone. In Ecclesiastes 4:9, two are better than one, and a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So if you have a community of people around you that are, in a metaphoric sense, weaving together to help your dreams happen, help your goals happen, it's so much easier than trying to do it alone. It's not just the tactics, it's being around like-minded people. It's having a community that actually helps you. Another student I worked with, his name is Treston. When I was working with Treston, he was working a job at the time, and he was a video editor, and he wanted to start his own business. And so he had his own LLC, but he hadn't really made a lot of progress with his own business. And at Divergent U, he met classmates who he partnered with and launched a collaborative venture. And now he's actually filming for Olympians. He has videographers in his community that he's built all over the country. He works with hundreds of videographers, and he actually won an award for a short film that he created. So he went from working a job to becoming a boss of his own business by getting around like-minded people who were doing the same thing. And that gave him the confidence and gave him the like-minded mindset to actually move forward with his goals. So all of these books at Divergent University, there are many. We have 9 total workbooks, as well as Bible breakdowns. So I've written all of these books to help students to, one, get closer to God through scripture, and we build community that is faith-based. But that does not mean we close our doors to anyone. It means we welcome anyone who's ready to engage with scripture. It's a very open-minded environment, and community, purpose-driven community, really makes a huge difference in making your goals happen. So Divergent University meets every day for 4 hours a day, every weekday for 9 months with a few weeks off. And it's about 250 total workshops where students are getting to engage in open-minded discussions with other students, starting with scripture at the beginning of the day. Then we actually get into business tactics throughout the day. So in a book like the brand and marketing book, students are actually building their brand in class. They're creating their website, they're creating their logo, they're creating their content, they're creating their sales and making offers using the sales and offers book. And so it's not just writing in the books. That's why we don't sell the books separately. They go with the class, because students are answering questions, engaging activities with others who are doing the same thing. This all happens in Orlando, Florida. We do not offer online classes. And this is so that we can build very meaningful and intentional communities. It is a huge commitment of 9 months, but it's basically like fast tracking college. So rather than going to 4 years of college, you could do 9 months of Divergent University and walk away with your own business that's already in revenue. So the last point of the 4, you've got clarity, confidence, community. The last one is traction. So you want to actually make your goals happen, which means you need to continually make progress. You have to persevere through challenges. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." And so it's easy to start something and quit. It's hard to finish. And one student who I worked with, his name is Tiger. He had a lot of ideas coming into Divergent University, and he ended up deciding to launch a card game called The Balance of Gaia. It's about animals on Earth, and it's a creative card game. He launched it at one of our events that we had for Divergent U, and it took him 6 years of development to fully finish his creation. But once he finished it, he then launched it to the community. He's partnered with local stores. He's working with influencers, creating content, and building a brand around a card game that he created at Divergent U. And so we have 4 major events to go along with everything else I shared that help students stay accountable to a deadline. So when you have a deadline, it allows you to build traction because you know you have to present something at that deadline. The first event is orientation. So students come in, they meet other students. This happens in September. They learn about the ideas of what other students are considering. Some students come in with an idea, they already know what they want to do. Other students have several ideas and they're not clear. Some are already in revenue. So different stages and age range. It's typically 18 to 25. There's several students in that range, and there's 25 to 35. And then we have students that are even older than that as well. But those are kind of the major categories. The first event, so orientation. Second event is a family banquet. We invite the families of the students to come for a complimentary meal and learn a little bit about what the students are preparing to build. So for the first 90 days of Divergent U, it's not about launching a business. It's about getting clarity on what the business model will be. It's about developing confidence. It's about developing habits for success, and it's about the mindset for success. So we do orientation, family banquet, then we do the business competition. So this is where students actually register their own business. This is not simulated. This is not hypothetical. Students are making sales and making money in this trimester. We have not had a student in the last 2 years who has not made money during our business trimester. So they've all launched their LLCs and made money in their own business. And that ends with a graduation ceremony and an event that we host for the public called Divergent X Conference. This year, Divergent X is hosting a conference called Called to Create. It will follow the 7 days of creation, and we basically put on, as a student body and staff and community, we put on an event for the larger community to show that we are made in the image of the creator and we are called to create. So it's going to be a theatrical, interactive, experiential event that will happen on June 20th. So those are the 4 major events that take place at Divergent University. And so the proof that you can actually make your dreams happen is that others have done this before you. You are not the first person to consider pursuing a dream, pursuing a calling. It takes clarity. You have to know what you want, and that starts with sharing. You share your ideas with others, write them down. That's the first step. If you never let the idea leave your mind and you keep it to yourself, nobody can help you make it happen. Then you have to develop number 2, the confidence. You've got to actually take action on the idea, not just think about it, not just write it down, but actually do something. Number 3, get around a community. Be around like-minded people who are doing the same thing. It's going to help you a lot more than just watching a YouTube video like this. And then number 4, traction. Use deadlines to help you stay accountable to make something happen, because you can think about it, you can do different small things for your business or for your idea, but if you don't have deadlines, if you don't have accountability, it's so much harder to make it happen. So get off of YouTube, come to Orlando, Florida, join Divergent University if this sounds like something that would help you make your ideas a reality. You can go to our website, divergentuniversity.com. You can read some of the student stories that I shared and many, many more who we've helped bring their ideas into reality. It is fully possible. Highly recommend, if you haven't already, check out one of our previous videos where we talk about risk versus faith and how faith is a spiritual concept and risk is a worldly concept. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll love that video as well. We appreciate your time. And as always, stay blessed.